Let's start with this. Hugh Hewitt, we all know Hugh Hewitt here in the United States, a very influential conservative talk show radio host, and he tried to help Donald Trump out with this whole ISIS thing this morning. I want to play this for our viewers.
I want you to listen again to when Hugh Hewitt tried to provide Mr. Trump with a more rational explanation as to what he was saying. Take a listen.
Even when confronted by conservative talk show host Hugh Hewitt.
He's not sympathetic to them. He hates them. He's trying to kill them.
He was the founder.
Conservative talk show radio host Hugh Hewitt tried to help Donald Trump climb out of the hole of this particular lie about ISIS. Listen now as Hugh Hewitt drops a ladder down into the hole Donald Trump has dug for himself.
You heard it right there. Hugh Hewitt says that Hugh Hewitt, would talk about the issue of ISIS differently than Trump has been. He lays out a politically reasonable argument on the subject.
Here's the exchange you mentioned with Hugh Hewitt, the radio talk show. This is Donald Trump.
I want to play something that he said to Hugh Hewitt today about this founder of ISIS business. Let's play this.
He was given an out by, obviously, Hugh Hewitt as well.
And the reason I say this is because he said it to Hugh Hewitt.
He did say, when he was pressed by Hugh Hewitt on this in his radio interview this morning, Hugh Hewitt said, well, of course you didn't really mean that. And he said, well, yes, I did, in fact, really mean that.
He did it again on Hugh Hewitt.
She's running on her.
But you know Hugh Hewitt on the radio pushed him on that.
And you saw Hugh Hewitt try to kind of throw him a lifeline to actually make this more of a policy argument. And he said, no, they're MVP.
Hugh Hewitt, in a radio interview this morning, did try to offer him some way to say, surely you meant, and he said, no, I didn't.
When he does a news interview like he did with Hugh Hewitt today, who tried to get him to actually talk about policy, what would you do about ISIS? What is actually the facts on the ground?
And I think it's demonstrating what he thinks is a lapse in judgment and being...
Let me just serve the role of Hugh Hewitt here and give you a lifeline.
Hugh Hewitt, who's a very friendly interviewer to him, said, wait, let me clarify this for you. You mean he created a vacuum that allowed ISIS to flourish? And Donald Trump said, no, he's the founder of ISIS.
Why is he pushing this founder of ISIS? Not even the explanation Hugh Hewitt tried to help him with. No, founded, literally founded ISIS. Why does he insist on that?
He rejected it, as you said, when Hugh Hewitt gave him an exit door. He chose to close it.
Our commander-in-chief is the founder of ISIS, and he goes on Hugh Hewitt this morning and says, well, kind of that's the way I do things. I like to, to say provocative things.
And when given the chance to clarify on conservative radio host Hugh Hewitt's show, he took it a step farther.
On the Hugh Hewitt radio show today, the conservative host gave Trump room to back down.
As for Trump, conservative talk radio host Hugh Hewitt tried to push him back to the talking points with mixed success this morning.
Trump also says Hillary Clinton is the co-founder, and he's not backing down from those claims. Here's what he told conservative radio host Hugh Hewitt when pressed on that issue.
Radio host Hugh Hewitt gave Trump a chance to clarify Thursday, but instead Trump doubled down. Conservative radio host Hugh Hewitt pressed him on that.
You heard Hugh Hewitt sort of throwing Donald Trump a lifeline there, more than throwing Donald Trump a lifeline. He provided a roadmap to explain his, President Obama founded ISIS comments, but Donald Trump didn't want to have anything to do with it. He just wanted us to say that President Obama founded ISIS.
And I think that was very kind of Hugh Hewitt to do, because in the past he's been critical of Donald Trump, and I think he knew the storm that was going to be.
You just heard the soundbite from Hugh Hewitt. Hugh Hewitt, who is a conservative radio host and to use this word, vociferous critic of the Obama administration and of Hillary Clinton, trying to give Donald Trump a second chance, a third chance, a fourth chance to correct the record.
Yeah, he gave him the perfect out. All he had to do was say, yeah, that's what I meant.
It was a really interesting back and forth this morning between Trump and Hugh Hewitt. Hewitt was basically trying to give him an out.
A radio talk show host.
Yeah, and he was trying to give him an out. He said, you mean that the policies led to the rise of ISIS? And Trump said, no, I mean, they're the founders of ISIS.
Donald Trump was appearing on the Hugh Hewitt radio show this morning. Hugh Hewitt said, you mean that they kind of helped lay the conditions for the rise of ISIS? And Donald Trump doubled down and saying, no, I believe they created ISIS. I have talked about both of them in terms of being the most valuable player when it comes to ISIS, but now going even further. Also, on the Hugh Hewitt radio program this morning, Jenna, offering a glimpse into who he might put in his cabinet, saying that he would definitely consider as Secretary of State Ambassador John Bolton.
This is something that conservative radio host Hugh Hewitt said to Trump today, just within the last maybe 2 hours or so.
That exchange, and we played the whole extended version, that exchange with Hugh Hewitt, a really interesting window into Donald Trump's reasoning. You don't get him to really be introspective that much. I think that might be as close as he ever gets. Hugh Hewitt lays out
what in the normal sort of terms of political debate in this country would be a reasonable argument that you would normally expect a politician to be making. And Donald Trump basically says, yeah, and nobody would hear me if I did that. I have to say it this way.
Donald Trump claimed this week that President Obama is the founder of ISIS. And when radio host Hugh Hewitt tried to clarify what he thought was hyperbole, Trump did a little clarifying of his own.
In an interview with radio host Hugh Hewitt, Trump reiterated his understanding that President Obama founded ISIS. When pushed by Hewitt to elaborate, Trump said, quote, he was the founder. The way he got out of Iraq was that was the founding of ISIS, okay?
And when conservative talk show host Hugh Hewitt tried to put Trump's words in perspective, Trump disagreed.
Many conservatives argue the Obama administration's actions in the Middle East created a vacuum of power that let ISIS flourish.
You meant that he created the vacuum, he lost the peace.
No, I meant he's the founder of ISIS. I do. He was the most valuable player. I give him the most valuable player award.
Conservative radio host Hugh Hewitt tried to clarify Trump's language a little.
Last night you said the president was the founder of ISIS. I know what you meant. You meant that he created the vacuum, he lost the peace.
No, I meant he's the founder of ISIS. I do.
Dang, Trump.
Trump sort of weirdly playing with this a little bit on when he's talking to Hugh Hewitt, which is always happens, right, where there's a sort of pipeline. Here he is talking about how she's a mess and she sleeps too much. Take a listen.
Mary Catherine, one last note. Donald Trump was on the Hugh Hewitt show this morning. He was asked about potential debate moderators, and Hewitt said that there would be a number who would not be unfair. Take a listen.
Chuck Todd won't do that. Dickerson won't do that. Jake and Wolf won't do that. Dana Bash was very fair to you, didn't you think?
I think she's had moments of great fairness.
Mary Catherine Hamp, very fair to you.
I've never gotten along with her now.
With Mary Catherine?
Never gotten along.
Oh, well, we'll have to check in on that.
No,
okay.
She is not a fan of mine, and I've never gotten along with her.
Okay,
so
I'll ask her about that.
I don't know her, but she says only bad things. So let's cross her name off.
Okay.
But, no, I do not.
You can put mine on.
I am not a fan.
Hugh Hewitt, we all know Hugh Hewitt here in the United States, a very influential conservative.